So tell me what we gonna make, that magic. Tell me what we trying to take, that cabbage. What we trying to calculate, that average. If it ain't to innovate, we might as well scrap it. So tell me what we gonna make, that magic. Tell me what we trying to take, that cabbage. What we trying to calculate, that average. And if it ain't to innovate, we might as well scrap it. Intrinsic to detail.
Welcome back to the Poet's Return podcast. I am your host, Melissa Booey, and here on episode 4, we are having the very talented Carlos Diego Mendoza on. I had the wonderful experience. I got to go to Towne Street Theatre, which is a theater that is local here in Los Angeles. It's actually a theater company that's been around for over 2 decades. And Towne Street is located technically at the Stella Adler studio. But Towne Street Theatre is an amazing, amazing theater company. And they really, really do a great job on highlighting, cultivating, and encouraging playwrights' new works. So a friend of mine, who again will be on later in the season for the podcast, he is an amazing rapper, talented hip-hop artist, very talented playwright, and actor. And he wrote this amazing play called the Milkcrate Monolgoues, which you can see actually some live backstage footage on the Poet's Return Instagram page. I was so lucky and blessed to be a fly on the wall during this experience. They got to record a cast album for this show titled The Milkcrate Monolgoues that went up at Towne Street Theatre. And this was back in October, actually. But it was really cool because the Milkcrate Monolgoues is an original piece written by Ron Johnson, that 10 monologues that are performed in rap style hip-hop performance. And they actually open the entire performance with a cipher, which is an amazing experience for the audience because you're welcomed in to participate to this like freestyle rap to this beat. And Ron was so cool when I got introduced to him through another dear friend, and he allowed me again to come and be a fly on the wall, listen to the cast record this album, and actually interview the entire cast, almost the entire cast, during their off time when they weren't in the recording studio, and getting to know the cast, getting to know who these people were, how they all came together to collaborate. So our guest today is kind of the first introduction you're going to get into that world of the Milkcrate Monolgoues. But this, of course, is more than just that. It's about his specific journey, his specific writing, and his process. But that is how I got introduced to him. So Carlos Diego Mendoza is our guest on today. And he also challenged me to speak some of mine. So it was really cool getting to speak with him and rap with him. So here's Carlos. We have the very talented Carlos Diego Mendoza on today.
That's it.
Yes. And I was introduced to Carlos because Ron, who is another episode of Poet's Return, the Milkcrate Monolgoues, as we know, is an amazing show at Towne Street Theatre. Carlos is a member of that cast. So I was fortunate enough to get to meet him and the other lovely cast members and do little interviews in a back room of Stella Adler, which I loved because I was like, this is artist. We're on a couch in a fluorescently lit room, and you don't know me, and I'm asking you all this random stuff. But yeah, Carlos is a member of that cast, and he does his own raps and writes his own stuff as well. And so, yeah, we're very excited to have you on Poet's Return.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here, yo. Like, first of all, I did not meet you after the first show.
No, you met.
I did.
That's true.
I did I?
I came up and introduced myself for like 2 seconds.
Shut up. No, you didn't.
I did. But you were talking to people. Oh. So I was that girl that was like, you were great. Bye.
Okay. So you ambushed me.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, but we actually or we had a conversation when you did come and do when we were doing the recordings.
Which was so cool.
Yeah.
You guys got to do that cast album, which should be out, we're thinking, like February, March.
Hoping so. Yeah. But no, it was a pleasure meeting you too, and it's so cool to be here on a podcast to kind of share some stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So I know you and I have spoken before, but just to kind of get the audience caught up to speed, obviously when you went in for this audition for Milkcrate Monolgoues, it was different because you and Ron have a history.
Yes.
And you didn't actually go to if I remember correctly, did you have an actual audition? Or
I did.
You
I
did.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember you saying the two of you knew each other previously, and this was something that
Yeah.
I feel like was meant to be.
So it was. I think what I said it was serendipitous.
Serendipitous.
That's
what.
Yeah. It was no coincidence. It was serendipitous. Me and Ron, we met. I think like over a year ago, and we actually met doing a show back up north in the Bay Area, or close to the Bay Area. The show was actually my kind of farewell to the Bay Area before moving here down south to Los Angeles. And so it was bittersweet, and it was a great show. And actually, the show got nominated, and I got nominated for some awards for it. So
nice.
All in all, like, I'm very grateful for that show, and for all the kind of its accolades, but also for giving me the opportunity to meet Ron. By, I would say, I don't know, like third or fourth week of rehearsals, I realized that he was a hip-hop artist.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, because this fool randomly started beatboxing on stage. And I was like, wait, you beatbox? I beatbox too. And then I did some, like, fucking, elementary, some simple, Mm-hmm. And then he hit me with his ridiculous, like, patterns of, I don't even know what to call it, And I was like, oh, this cat is serious. And then he started rapping. I was like, dude, like, you're pretty good. Like, do you do this, like, is this, like, your hobby?
So your hobby? Carlos just gets decapitated.
Yeah. I was fooling, man. And he just looked at me and smirked, and,
now you were illin'.
Yeah. And he was like, check out my Spotify, man. I got albums on there. So on my way home, I drove home, listened to the album. And I think I told you this last time. Since I'm from the Bay Area, and I mean, growing up, high school, I grew up during the hyphy movement. And so when that kind of exploded, everyone started making before SoundCloud was SoundCloud, everyone started making mixtapes.
Yeah, dude, it was like the Mac Dre movement. I remember.
Everyone started producing. I went to school with a lot of producers who are now working here in LA. They do joints with like Chris Brown and a whole bunch of other people. So with a lot of producers coming out of the Bay, which is really cool. So I was expecting to kind of hear that, Mm-hmm. But then I played his stuff, and I was not expecting it. It was hip hop that I hadn't heard in a long time. It was hip hop that I forgot was gone. It was hip hop that I didn't realize was what the roots of hip hop was. And I was like, whoa, is this cat from like the East Coast? Because
mm-hmm.
that's like the first thought I feel like most people have nowadays. What I used to have was like, when you hear something substantial, something meaningful, you immediately associate it with the East Coast. Unfortunately, I think things are changing now with like artists like Kendrick.
Yeah, completely.
So so I heard him, came back, and we our friendship, our relationship grew from there because I was so attracted to that. For whatever reason, I'm still quite not sure why. I mean, I think a part of it has to do because I grew up with hip hop. That's my entire life, and then as I got older, I realized part of my survival was because of music, was because of poetry, it was because of what that type of culture can do for someone. And so our friendship started there, grew from there, and we came out to LA around the same time we moved here. And it just so happened that his show that he had written with what he thought was his deathbed.
Which is crazy still for me. So, like, even when he told me that, I was like, what in the heck? Like, I can't believe that he experienced all of that and in that state wrote what he wrote. I can't believe it because sometimes that's what it takes for something so brilliant. It's like it's your lowest point and you come up with this.
Yeah. And I don't know how long. Did he tell you how long it took him? Because I don't remember him telling me.
I feel like he spat it out pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give you some exclusive insider right now. I think it's okay to say because he just posted on Instagram today, but he just wrote an entire mixtape within 48 hours, and probably produced all the music for it too. I'm not sure about that.
When he was posting about those new beats and stuff, I was like, what's going on?
And like I think it's okay to say because, like I said, he just posted on Instagram he did that.
Right.
And so I think these things just come out of him. you know? And like you said, it's crazy to think that he did do this on his deathbed. But I think I just think it was the timing for him to put it on paper. And so, he hit me up. He had this written down. He hit me up and he said, this theater company I've been working with in LA wants to produce it, and you should come audition for it. I'm like, say no more. I've never auditioned for anything hip hop in my life. I mean, my background is in theater, so I've gone to countless auditions for theater, but never for hip hop, yo. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going in. Let's go. I'm down.
Which is the best attitude to have.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, we get, again, like we were just talking about before we started recording, we get these ideas of hip-hop, rap, poetry, theater, what is allowed in these mediums or in this, you know, forum or whatever of expression. And it's like hip-hop theater, the Milkcrate Monolgoues, the way that's all done, it's like this revolutionary idea, but at the same time, it's like, this makes so much sense. You know, especially having, gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it, the cipher at the beginning. Having it open in that half moon circle where the audience is a part of it, and if you want to get up, that invitation is there. Like, I think that's such a cool, and that's what people want. Yeah. People want to be heard and want to listen, I think, now more than ever.
Be part of something. Like, really be part of something.
Have a community. People don't have a community, and people are starved for it because I think a lot of us feel very, very isolated and ostracized, and I feel like hip-hop has always been that thing that holds you accountable to a community and saying, like, yeah, you're welcome, participate, and also, like, you gotta be truthful, though. Yeah. You know?
Why do you think we're in a time where people feel disconnected?
Well, I think it's a lot of factors. I think fear. I think fear is a huge wedge right now. You know, we use things like social media to hide behind how we want people to perceive us. But then I think it's become more difficult for people to maybe necessarily be present in person with someone and shed that and look someone in the eye. And I can't tell you how many people I deal with on a day-to-day basis that I'm like, it feels like people are afraid to be seen. Yeah. But it's also what I think the only thing people really want, but people don't know how to go about it. Because we have so many easy ways out. I think, you know, it's easy to, like, ghosting. I have a whole, like, rap on ghosting, poem on ghosting, and about just, like, we've made it easier than ever for people to just not have that last conversation or that confrontation that can just cut you out. Yeah. And I'm not saying that there aren't moments in life where it's necessary to, maybe if there's a toxic, unhealthy, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like you should always be able to be like, look, I can't have you in my life right now. You're toxic. I hope I can see you again. Yeah. But people will just cut and not deal with the...
Well, that's a communication thing, right?
Exactly. And I think it's fear-driven.
Do you think it's fear-driven? I mean, I half agree with that, but I feel like there's also other things at play where it's the way people are conditioned now. I mean, I see technology. You know, I see it being so absolutely great for various reasons, for various things. You know, the things we're capable of doing, saving lives. You know what I mean? Doctors talking across the world to each other. You know what I mean?
You can get therapy at 2 a.m. now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Like, as far as like health, like it's instant now. Completely. You know what I mean? It could be instant. But I work as a teacher as well, as a freelance substitute teacher. And I see these kids, like literally these kindergartners, 5-6-year-olds on iPads. Yeah. Some charter schools are giving coding classes to 1st and 2nd graders. Ooh. Coding, and they're good at it, yo. They're phenomenal at it. But then they don't play with anyone at recess.
Right. Well, and I think, and I agree with you, I think that disconnect does come from, it's an overstimulation. We have, it's fear, but I think it's also overstimulation. There's so much to play with. There's so much information at your fingertips at any given moment. Yeah. That it's like, how do you choose this one-on-one interaction over that video, that stream, that post, that whatever? There's it's like, oh, that's great what you're saying, but like, there's this.
Well, shit, then maybe you're right. Maybe it is all fear-based.
Well, I think it all stems back to, it's like parents that, you know, my sister, I have a 9-month-old now niece, And my sister does everything she can to not use the TV or the smartphone to keep her occupied. But that kid, even at 9 months old, the minute she sees you with a smartphone, that's what she wants.
Yeah.
She already knows.
Yeah. She's happiest with it.
Right, because it's infinite. She can play. There's so many things she likes. And it's the thing, too, is that kids are problem solvers by nature. Kids want to have a challenge. Yeah. They don't want to be bored. They like, oh, I want to figure out how to do this.
Right,
and then it opens this door. And whoa, that door opens this door. And that opens. And then before you know it, your 12-year-old is watching porn. You know? Like, straight up. Yeah. And I'm not even saying that they meant to. But it's like, it happens. So I think, and this goes back to kind of like my whole idea for getting poets on here and Poets Return is a return to the essence. A return to the words. Using our words preciously. Because whether or not we are overstimulated and afraid and we've got all the apps and all the games and all the whatever, at the end of the day, we are still so affected by what people say to us, what we hear, what we, and I feel like I don't want people to lose the value of what they're saying. Because it's not just one of those things where it's like, you be careful what you say. It's know that you have a very important voice. Your voice is precious, and use it as a powerful instrument instead of like a tool of neglect, of negligence, or a tool of dismissiveness, or a tool of indifference. It's like these words, reasons why Billie Eilish has gotten so big, I think, is because there's a potency and a poetry in what her lyrics are. There's an abstract vision. You can visually see it, listening to it. Even if you haven't been through that, there's something to relate to. Yeah. And it's the same thing that makes people go back and listen to Lauryn Hill and listen to AC Alone and listen to, the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, it's all the shit that everyone wants to tell their story.
Which is popular again, by the way.
Well, of course, because people are, and I'm not saying that artists like Migos and Post Malone, I'm not saying that all these artists don't have their place. And again, I hear Post Malone sing Santeria, and it breaks my fucking heart too.
Hey, he's getting better at the guitar, yo.
Yeah, he is. Well, and again, like, hey, if you're an artist that isn't going to settle and you'll keep learning, I will respect you infinitely. Yeah. But I do think people are starved for those stories that take you back. The reason that Tupac and Biggie first became, it's just, you never heard that. I had never heard that perspective before. Yeah. May have lived a criminal life, but why? Why did they live a criminal life? Yeah. Why did they sell drugs? Yeah. Because they didn't, So anyway, I think, and I think that's why I love shit like the Milkcrate Monolgoues. Yeah. And I love rap.
To your point too, it's like to take it back to the things that are being kind of brought to the surface again. Hip hop was always live, right? Mm-hmm. That's where it came from. It was a community of people outside at the park.
Right. It is live theater.
It is live theater.
Completely.
And that's why the two work.
But that's also why audiences need to experience it and why, Ron was talking about being in educational theater and in all, which I think is necessary. I think college, high school kids should be freaking reading the Milkcrate Monologues, and it should be part of their curriculum. Mm-hmm. Because I would rather have that in there, because we have, it's the same thing. Listen to a sonnet from Shakespeare. The last two lines, my favorite sonnet is Sonnet 19, the last two lines, yet do thy worst old time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young. Mm. Like, hi, Shakespeare, that's, and it was a great shout out during Milkcrate, and I was like, ha, you were a theater kid too, Ron, I love it. But it's all the same. Why do we still do live theater when we have fucking every streaming service and everything at our fingertips? It's because people still want to be a part of something that's flesh and blood, and that they can reach out and go and have a platform to speak. Yeah. So agreed. On that note, do you have a piece that you would like to? Is there anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, actually, I do. So, funny story. Not funny, kind of sad, actually.
It's usually how I start my sad stories. Funny story.
So I used to write everything down in my notepads, which I have back home in the Bay Area. And then this last year I started, just because I've been working and just hustling and freelancing a lot and on the go. It's been easier to put it in my notes.
Always, yep.
It got erased this week. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Thankfully, there were a lot of the stuff, I had memorized a lot of my stuff, thankfully. And then other stuff I had sent through messages, so I kind of went through my messages to find them again, to other people, to share. So I found those and I took screenshots, and so I have those. But there were some things that are gone forever, which broke my heart. But I still have things to share. So
good. Well, that's just, dude. That's like one of my worst. That is one of my worst fears.
It hurt. It definitely hurt. And being a theater kid, I guess, like, not I guess, I'm very grateful that I have a quick brain to memorize stuff. So I have some stuff memorized, which is great. But I have something. I actually wrote about my family.
Oh, I love it.
This is kind of I would call it a poem rap hybrid. It's called No Lie. No lie. When I stepped outside and I got hit with the cold air and bay ocean smell, my heart swelled. There's just no place like here. Even the birds seemed familiar. The James and the giant peach type. No lie. Like Sunday mornings on wet cut grass stains my memory pain. I thought I had forgotten what I had left. A trace only when mama's cooking and cutlery come out twice a year. Or Wednesdays after school on Emmerich concrete, kids with my cousins playing ball or imagining. Or when I used to light the fireworks for the 4th of July before it was even the 4th of July, and I wasn't old enough, so I had to hide the fact that I did it. But damn, I hella did it. Everybody knows now. Or sitting on my maply glazed wooden floor putting tracks together with my mother and my baby sister around the Christmas tree, waiting for my dad to get home from work. He had the night shift. You see, I wanted to have something ready, something complete, so that when he got home, all he had to do was put the train on the tracks. And maybe put the star on top. Okay, so no lie, when I stepped outside, I remembered some of these things, and I realized how and why they made me nostalgic. I realized that the gloss on the floor, the smell of the grass, or the warmth of the sun covering my tube socks reflected from the grayish concrete meant something because I was with them. I remember those things, these details, because I remember them. I remember them because I just don't want to forget. No lie. So that's home to me. Fresh, cold, smelly, rocky, warm, early, late, on the floor, hiding, playing, ghetto streets, July, stars, Wednesdays, giant Sundays, peaches, polished, and on track. This whole poem is about you and how in love I am. No lie.
That's some good shit right there.
Thank you.
I love the imagery. It's so, and your alliteration, polished peaches, like peaches.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good.
Thank you.
And sentiment, I don't want to forget.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It carries throughout. It's like, it's relishing these memories, but there's an urgency still. I have to write this down now.
Yeah.
Which is something I love from poetry. And I love when it falls into that rhythm of rap because it's just like it could sing you to sleep and awake you. It's like an awaking slumber, because you're woke while you're listening to it, but it could almost sing you to sleep at the same time because it's musical.
Yeah. I'm glad you feel that way about it.
Dude,
That's what it feels to me.
That inspired me to write my mom a Christmas Eve poem. That'd probably mean more to her than the stupid scarves.
Hey, you're not lying though. You're not lying. Swear. Yeah, I remember when I was 5 years old, I wanted to write my mom a poem, but I didn't know how. So I literally got Tupac's "Dear Mama" lyrics. And I remember writing them on a Christmas card, and it ended with "Mama, you are truly appreciated." Yeah, I remember that.
I hope she cried. Maybe not in front of
well,
you.
I don't know. My mama had no idea who Tupac was.
What the?
I signed it Thug Life and shit. My mom was like, "You are going to a Catholic school, motherfucker." No, so I wrote that poem because this holiday season has been tough. I wasn't able to go see my family during Thanksgiving. So I was in the process of kind of just reminiscing and being nostalgic about what the holidays do mean for me and my family. And this is the first year that I was not with them. I popped that cherry, yo.
Dude, that's rough.
Yeah, it was going to happen at some point, you know?
But it's rough.
So it was tough. And also, memory-wise, my grandpa has dementia. And kind of to see that process of him forgetting and not remembering things, and it I have so many questions about that, and a relationship with that I'm still learning to live with. for him and also for myself as I get older. You know, sometimes I wake up and I have a conversation with someone and they'll say something like, "Did you forget?" That anxiety starts to hit. You know?
Dude, dementia runs in my family too, and it's terrifying because what could be worse than, you know, forgetting your story, forgetting relationships, forgetting memories, which I think reads into the urgency in No Lie. You know, that there's a preciousness and a sentimentality, and there's also like, I need to put this down because I don't want to forget this. I don't want to take it for granted.
Yeah.
Also, back to Tupac, you know, I appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean,
have that appreciation.
I mean, something I've learned this last year is if you love someone, tell them now.
Yeah,
tell them now. You know.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, straight up.
Woof. Dude, well that's really good shit though.
Thank you for letting me share. That's the first time I think the only person I've shared that with was Ron.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and then also someone special to me.
Good, but we have those people that you trust, and for me, it is the whole one of the other reasons for Poets Return is it's holding myself accountable because I have so much content that I haven't shared that I'm like, I need to be brave.
Yeah.
Because somebody else actually probably I don't need this anymore. Somebody else needs it now. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of how I've come to think about my writing, because a lot of my writing is about PTSD and mental illness and addiction. And for so long, I hoarded it because I was like, I'm so afraid of putting this out. I'm afraid of what people will think of me. I'm afraid of what people will say or whatever. People are going to think I'm crazy. People are going to think it's too dark. And then I was like, no, probably most people feel like this a lot more than they're willing to communicate. Yeah. Just as people probably miss home a lot more than they want to say. Because you're never too old to miss home, and you're never too old to tell people that you love, that you appreciate them for making the memories that they've made. Yeah. You never know when you won't get a chance. So which is hard. It's like the balance again, my continual balance of like the hope and like the despair. It's like I'm hopeful, but oh my god, it could all go away. Don't fall into that.
Yep.
Well, and I really loved the piece that you and is it Ariella?
Ariella, yeah. She goes by Ariella, Ariel, Ron calls her Ari.
Yeah, you know. I loved it, you know, what is the name of it?
Love or Something Like It.
Love or Something Like It.
Yeah.
That piece really resonated with me when I saw Milkcrate live. I thought the two of you did such a beautiful job of it.
Thank you.
It was so truthful and vulnerable. I loved it because there was hope at the end, which I think I was expecting that to not end on a hopeful note.
Right.
Which I loved. I told Ron, I was like, I really loved. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you got to find the hope. And I think that that's something that a lot of people, that piece especially like I see college kids, like they eat it up. Because there's so much there.
Yeah.
It's why we do in college, you know, Shakespeare and Chekhov and José Rivera, because there's a lot of...
Shut up! You fuck with José Rivera?
I love José Rivera!
Shut up!
Dude.
Yeah. I was blessed enough to direct one of his pieces when I managed a theater company back in San Francisco. I directed Cloud Tectonics.
Oh.
I was trying to get him out to come see it, and he responded to my Facebook post. But he was in Chicago at the time developing another play.
I was gonna say doing cool shit.
Yeah. No, he was writing something new. I forget which one it was. Have you read the play or seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
God, that's amazing that he got back to you.
Yeah. I was so beside myself.
Aww.
Man's a genius.
No, he's a genius.
Man's a genius.
He's a genius. So, because again, I have to hold myself accountable.
Please.
Because you wrote a piece about your family.
Yeah.
This is called Blood, and it's nostalgic, but it's in kind of a darker vein.
Okay.
Hey, big brother. You don't want to talk to me. You went from being my rock to making it no longer a cakewalk to believe in me. Still, how did you somehow erase all the chalk? All those years on the block, we know it's easy to mock it and blow it all off irretrievably. Believe you me, I miss you every day. My name in your mouth is religion, and now that's a 4-lettered word, they say. You've lost the faith. Hey, it's okay. I don't blame you for taking the hit, for calling it quits. I've had it up to here with it and all that holier-than-thou shit, but this is big. Us being on two different sides of those lines we drew to keep the bad shit in, not keep us far away and unlike me and you. Seemingly on the out and out. I wrote those terms in blood we talked about. Yet in your eyes I see I am a traitor. I'm the one you not so secretly hate for having your back every step of the way. You're afraid of what truth I might actually say when you blast out that gate like a shark after bait, like a hunter for prey. Ready to blow me away and say, I don't mean jack shit now, your timing is great. Never showing up late to tell me I've gone astray. No, you don't hesitate to say I've made it this way when you're so obviously ready to set sail from this bay that we dug out with our bare-bloodied hands, you and me. But I see this as mutiny. And no matter how many grains of sand I try to catch and keep, the sea's too deep and your weight is steep. It's all so hard to understand, but I kick free and finally let you be. Do you, blood brother, my morning star. Do whatever it is you think will keep you safe and sound. Far down where no one can save you from the version of you found and let tell you to drown, and you listened, you keep listening. And you're bound to keep dragging me down, so I'm kicking, I'm swimming, I'm letting you be. But this crusade ain't the same if it ain't you and me. Still, it chills me effortlessly to my bones to finally believe I am alone in this messy masterpiece that isn't you and me, so be free. I hope I'll see you when the dust settles back down and lets us be. I don't know how to end this because I never saw an end to our story, but I guess I was wrong. It wasn't guts and glory all along. You fiend and friend and version of the person you once were, it was always you and me that knew the song and had the spine to sing along. I never thought you'd be the one to drop the bomb.
Oof! Shit!
Real cheery.
I want to give an air horn, but that's not the appropriate sound, but it's the sentiment, you feel me?
Yeah, that one came, like, that one I had to pull over. I was driving, and it, like, into my head.
Yo, that's a joint right there. That's music.
Well, thanks, dude.
No, yeah, that's to me, that's music. And what I mean by that is that when I listen to music, it puts me there, right then and there. Like I'm almost intruding on something very intimate, and that's why I love music. So I fuck with that.
Okay. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm sorry to be vulgar. I don't know if you have. I don't know if you
have
that
you
on
kidding?
your.
No.
Okay, cool.
My lovely counterparts are like, yeah, she's gonna say the F word at least 7 times.
Word. Okay, cool. But no, that was Ron wasn't lying. You a rapper. You a rapper.
Thanks, dude. I've been hiding from it for years.
Yo, you had some delicious ass sounds in there. That whole like the C imagery, but with like all the S sounds. That little segment there. God, that was so delicious.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, and like amongst everything else, those are just like right off the bat things that spoke to me. That made me feel good.
Oh, good, dude. That makes me so happy to hear. Because, you know, and that's, again, like, I'm afraid to put, because a lot of my shit can be really, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't even know what I think. You know, I don't know. I think it's literally goes back to which is so sad to say, but it's the voices I've let in my brain that tell me, you know, you're a skinny white girl. Like, what's your, you know, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I can't fight it. It just comes out of me, so I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. But,
We're always gonna have that. You know, there's always gonna be a. The world is set up to condition us and to warp us, to disfigure us. It's set up that way, no matter what. That's why we're always surviving, you know. And I think that's what makes life so beautiful, because you're constantly putting yourself back together or discovering how to best assemble yourself.
That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. I feel like your episode needs to be called like Assembly Required.
Hey, let's go.
I'm just going to write that down. But that was beautiful.
Oh,
you need to write a rap about what you just said.
Okay.
I feel like that was... It's true. The world warps us and conditions us, and it's hard to keep picking back up and going, no, I know who I am. It's cool. I don't care. Mm-hmm. You know, and we apologize in life so much sometimes for just knowing what our instincts are and going with our gut. We're like, oh, I feel bad that I didn't want to.
Right.
And it's like, that would be my superpower, is to not. I don't know if it's to not care what people think, but to know how to filter it through and go, all right, that might be relevant. That's bullshit, and I'm never going to even listen to what that person said.
Right.
And I think that's very hard as an artist, especially when you're sharing your own work. It's hard enough to get up and act somebody else's vulnerability. Yeah. To do your own and say, look, this is me, and have somebody throw a harpoon at you and go, you're an idiot, kill yourself. Yeah. Even if you know logically that person sucks, it's their own issues. Mm-hmm. Again, going back to the preciousness of words, the way that we're affected by words, the way that words can It's like being a lighthouse. Like, it batters away at you. You keep trying to help the ships find land and find yourself, whatever.
Right.
But you get fucking battered away at, and sometimes it's hard to stand up tall.
Yeah. Yo, you're speaking to me right now because I'm constantly, like, telling myself these things. And I don't know if it is being an artist. Maybe it is. But I am very much so an empathetic person. Mm-hmm. And so... As much as I do have fortitude for my virtues and my morals, and I have certain boundaries for certain things, there's also a part of me that, because I am very empathetic and because I'm an artist and because I always want to understand something, and because I always want to understand someone, there's always going to be a part of me that is going to flex myself so that I can understand. And I don't know that I'll ever truly let that go. And I think that is, quote unquote, the burden of being an artist. But I think it's also the beautiful thing. I think that's the superpower,
Yes, which is like, fucking Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get, and I think that's something that as artists we're learning in this day and age more than ever. And the hip-hop community is a perfect, platform and example of that, is you don't get to just sit back on the sidelines.
Right.
It is a participatory, there is a vocation, there is a cross to bear.
Right.
Like, you don't get to just make money or whatever it is. It's whether you're spiritual
we ain't
or not.
bohemians.
Right.
Shit. Give me some money. I'll do some bougie ass art for the rest of my life. Give me fucking millions.
Fucking hand paintings.
Let's go.
Well, but this is like the stuff that's, I'm like, this is another reason why I give so much credit to Ron and I admire him for continuing to persevere.
Yeah.
When you get told, well, you're great, you're talented, I can check off all the boxes, but you're not marketable because you're not saying what we want you to say.
Right.
How frustrating as an artist, you're at the precipice, and you're like, let me jump, and they go, no, we don't.
Right.
You're gonna belly flop, and it's like, no, you keep telling me that. It's hard to not believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know I ain't a swan diver. I'm probably a big old messy cannonball. But people like that, There's something for everybody. And people like a belly flop, too.
Yeah.
But it's true, I wrote an entire book of poetry called Bird Brain. And it's an entire book of poetry about the voices in our heads that make us hate ourselves, make us fear putting ourselves out there, make us doubt everything. Because... it's learning that those voices will probably never go away. Yeah. But learning to accept and love and live with them and go, you guys are crazy. I appreciate you. Help me write something. But I know that what you're saying isn't logically true to who I am. Right. Right. I don't identify with that anymore. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. You guys are crazy, but I love you. And I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's the shit I think of every single day, yo.
Every day.
It's every day, and for being an artist, what do I compromise?
Ooh, a huge question.
What do I compromise? Mm-hmm. Especially in a town like this, yo. So it's the everyday struggle, and I think what. You said something about you said belly flopping, and that immediately gave me like an image. And you need waves to make change. You need waves to affect shit.
Hell yeah.
So belly flop all day, girl.
Completely.
Fucking do it.
Yep.
Jump in. Cannonball.
Yo. And the next album will be called Cannonball.
Drum roll.
Oh my gosh. Well, Carlos, you've been amazing. You've been amazing. And please, obviously, you're a better person. I have it right here. But if you want to plug for your Instagram, I'm going to put it on the description. But I know his handle is literally Carlos Mendoza. So it's Carlos D. Mendoza.
D. Mendoza, yeah.
So CarlosDmendoza on Instagram.
Yep.
Please follow him. He is, again, a part of the Milkcrate Monolgoues, which is going to be probably our season 1 finale. It's going to be a 2-part episode.
Okay, cool.
Interviews, which I think is amazing, again, that they were able to, as a cast, record Ron's words that they brought to life, and beautifully. Yeah. Beautifully. So, expect to see more from Carlos.
That's right.
Hey, I see you now, even though you lost a lot of shit. you're gonna now be really inspired because you're gonna be.
Oh yeah. No, I got a pad. I got a notepad this week, so it's starting. It's starting again.
You need a journal because I have journals for days.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
need an extra journal.
Oh no, we good. We back in the game, and like I said, like I memorized a lot of my stuff too. So lucky. I'm blessed.
Poets Return, a poetry podcast where artists share their work and discuss their process, and let you see the story behind the words. This audio production is copyright 2019 by the Poets Return podcast, all rights reserved. The copyrights for each story are held by the respective authors. No duplication or reproduction of this audio program is permitted without the written consent of Melissa Booey.
So tell me what we gonna make.